Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Play the Tape. I am your host, Derek J. Fields. Listen, it is a blessing to be here. First and foremost, this full disclaimer, I and sometimes my guests, we are not licensed and certified clinicians or licensed therapists, but I do have them on the show. I've had them on the show to give a different perspective of what we do here. But what we do here on Play the Tape, we are a community of advocacy, support, and education to those who suffer from mental health conditions and addiction. So that's what we do here. Again, it is a blessing to be here. I am so thankful to be here. Listen, I have a fantastic guest that's going to come up here today to share her experience, strength, and hope. She is a sister in this fight of recovery, in this war of recovery, and her relationship to the recovery community is very vital. My sister, somebody I love a lot, and someone we've had good conversation. We're about to have one today as she shares her experience, strength, and hope in her testimony. Charisse Williams, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so thankful for you to be here and to come up here and to be as transparent as you want. Share your experience, strength, and hope to those who can get to know you, who can inspire from your story, from where you come from to where you are today. So without further ado, Miss Charisse Williams, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Charisse, and how I got into the addiction, I really don't know. I have no idea. I know I didn't grow up as a child wanting to be an addict, none of that stuff. I'm the baby of 10 kids. I was born in Alabama, raised in Connecticut. And that's when my addiction took off running. I moved to Connecticut when I was about 7 years old. And my mother raised me as a single parent. And I truly believe that a lot of that stemmed from not having my father in my life. And that's not an excuse. I truly believe that because I truly believe I was looking for that. I was looking for that love from a male. I was looking for that. And I didn't know where to find it. And as I continued to go through my process, I picked up some drugs. And with that being said, me picking up the drugs, I had, as a child, I remember the kids calling me being dark. I remember the kids saying the darndest things, calling me black and ugly and black Sambos and things of that nature. And I didn't like myself. And I remember the kids next door having a mother and a father doing things together. And all I had was my mother. And I just had a lot of stuff as a young child. You never think that this would bother a young child, but you don't know until you experience this yourself. And the name calling and being in a one parent home coming up, all that stuff started to fall into play, and it started to bother me, and things it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't like or what you would call a normal family. I didn't grow up like that. I came from a dysfunctional. I don't know a lot of people that has a functional family either, but mine wasn't functional at all, you know. Right. And with that being said, it turned me to a whole lot of stuff, trying to find myself, trying to learn how to like myself. And what I thought the first time I ever got high, I thought that was a fixer-upper. I thought that fixed me.
How old were you? How old were you at that time, Charisse, when you first got high, when you first used?
The first time I got high was like 13 years old. And I got high, I smoked some weed. And oh, wow, it took me outside of myself. And so I thought. But what happened was that weed numbed my feelings. It numbed everything. So I didn't have to feel anymore. And I couldn't, I was, oh, wow, I was on top of the world. You know what I mean? And at the time I calmed down, I was eating up everything. Back in the day, they call it weed. I don't know what they call it now.
Everything. So many different things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I've been clean for 27 years.
Yeah, I'm applauding, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That is an applause break right there. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And before I got clean, I got to a little bit of everything. Started out smoking weed. I tell these kids right now today, don't think that weed won't progress. Don't think that, because I started out with that, and then before you know it, I was snorting cocaine, and that was good. You know what I mean? And I could do it on the weekend. It was okay, and it got worse, and it progressed as I continued to go on with that. And
I'm so glad you shared that about the marijuana, about the weed. A lot of misconceptions come with that about, oh, no, it won't progress. Yes, it can. It can progress. So don't be fooled that it can't progress, because it can progress. So I'm so glad you shared about that. Yes, same. Me too. That was my first, I started with pornography, but then here come the weed, and then here come the other different types of drugs, and my drug of choice was crack cocaine. But yes, I'm glad you shared that, Charisse, that weed can be an accelerant. It can be a jumping off point. Yes.
That was my starting point right there. And from that point on, it progressed and progressed and progressed, and it didn't stop. And what happened was I ended up going to jail, right? Because matter of fact, I got busted in New York, and I did 2 days in central booking. And I remember going to night court. Night court is really, really real in New York. When I was a little kid, I used to watch that show called Night Court.
Night Court, yeah, I remember that.
And I ended up going to court at night, 2:00 in the morning in New York, night court. But it wasn't that judge I seen on night court either.
Right.
And so I went to court, and next morning I got on that little bus, and it took me across that island to Rikers Island. And first time ever been to jail, I go to Rikers Island is a prison. And that's where I went. And I was over there for 4 days for transporting. And
how did you feel? What was that? Okay, again, how old were you? And then how was that feeling of riding onto that bus, knowing you're going to Rikers Island, knowing that you will be there for 4 days? What was that like? What was that experience?
It's funny you say that. I didn't know it was going to be 4 days. I thought it was going to be longer than that. Really, I really did. Listen, I kept saying to the lady, I said, you have me in the wrong prison. You got me in the wrong prison. And she said, what makes you think you're in the wrong prison? I said, everybody in there look like a man. Nobody has boobs but me. And it wasn't like I had that many, because I was a crack smoker. Let's get real with that. But she said, you're in the right place. This is a woman's prison on this side and men are on the other side. And I remember I was scared. I was so scared. And for the first 7 days, you stayed in quarantine or whatever, so they could watch you, so that you didn't try to hang yourself or you didn't try to hurt yourself and things of that nature. And I stayed there for 4 days, and my family came and got me. Finally, they came and got me. And believe it or not, I was scared clean. I've been clean ever since. When I left,
ever since then,
I was scared clean. I was scared clean. I don't know how. My bottom was jail. That was my bottom, and everybody's bottom is different. You have to hit bottom in order to get this thing. You gotta hit bottom, and once you hit bottom, you can't see no other way. I know a lot of folks want to enable their family and enable the folks, and every time they get ready to hit bottom, they put that cushion up under them to keep them from hitting, and that's an enabler. That hurts people. I'm quite sure it hurted my family more to leave me there for 4 days than to come and get me the next day.
You know, that
So they let me
is
stay.
no,
They
that's
let me
no. No, that's inspiring though, because some people may look at that as like, oh, that's cruel. But no, there's a part that enabling has to be taken aside or cut out so someone can hit bottom and feel or sense that desperation that we have felt to wake up.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
That's
This
right.
is something. Okay, I don't want to be here. This is not where I thought this was going to end up. But sometimes it does take that removing of that enabling to, and because I have dealt with that to some degree in my journey, and in my daughter's journey, where it was very hard, Miss Charisse, to as parents and loved ones and family members, you don't want to see anyone, you want to hold them, hug them, and protect them, but sometimes they need to hit that rock bottom, or that what they say, hard head make a soft ass.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's a reality. That's really reality. It really is. And they allowed me. It's amazing when I tell people my story. I said I went to jail for 6 days and I was scared clean. And they said, "Wow, girl, you ain't been to jail." But for me, it was a jail. It really
Yeah,
was.
right.
And I was scared clean. Yeah, I remember later on in life I seen this show called Scared Straight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I was scared, yeah, yeah, way back 28 years ago, I was scared straight, and from that point on, I got clean, and I came home from Rikers Island, and I started doing a program, the 12-step program, and I got involved. I got a sponsor. Uh, and I've just been on a roll from that point on. I've been on a roll. I don't really care like talking about the drug aspect of my life because that's not what keeps me clean today. I'm doing some other stuff that keeps me clean, but I have to share that part because the newcomer needs to know I've done everything they've done.
Hmm.
I've probably done even more. Uh, the newcomer needs to know they are not unique. They haven't done anything that nobody else hasn't done. And there's no reason. I remember going to some meetings, and a young lady said to me, I had about 45 days clean now, and I was struggling. The disease had a hope to me. It wanted me to use. It wanted me to use. And I would go to a meeting, I would share. I dreamt of smoking some crack last night. When I woke up, I was in my bed. And I remember my sponsor saying, "You should have enjoyed that high because you'll never get it again." A dream, she said, "You should have enjoyed it." But I remember this young lady saying to me, she said, "Charisse, the disease is insidious. It comes for you. It comes for you. And the longer you stay clean, sometimes the more it comes for you. Because my disease,
Mm,
it wants me dead, but it'll
mm.
settle for me using. It
Man,
will settle for that, but it really wants me dead.
ooh, you are so right. That thing will come and it will manifest itself in so many other ways, and that's what I had to learn, Miss Charisse.
Yes.
I had to learn once the desire to use drugs will go away. It will be arrested, it will subside. But then there are other things, like you said, it's insidious. And there were
Mm-hmm.
other things that you have to be vigilant about. And that's where that sponsor and that 12 step and that fellowship and that service work comes into play. But man, that you right, because it comes daily sometimes, moment
Yeah,
to
it does.
moment.
It
Hmm.
does. And then, and they had shared with me, this girl, she shared with me, she said, "Charisse, listen, only thing you got to do is stay clean." She said, listen, just listen to me. Because sometimes people think they got something and it's hard for them. And sometimes all we need to do is listen to someone else's story and you'll say, "Thank God.
Hmm.
Thank God for the story that I have." And the young lady, she said, Charisse, I suffer with disease of addiction. I have a mental illness. She said, I'm HIV positive. And if I could stay clean, I got about 8 years clean. And if I could stay clean, why can't you?
Whew,
And when
that
she
part.
shared, that part.
That part.
That part. And when she shared that with me, she had a mental illness, she has a substance abuse, and she's HIV positive. And this was like when she shared this, she's passed and gone now. And I still thank her to this day. I still give her props to this day. Dead and gone. I'll never forget how she's really helped me stay clean, because that was so real for her to share that with me. Her name is Vivian, and I love her. I love her. I love her. That's all we need to know is her first name is Vivian. We don't need to know her last name, because
Right.
there is some anonymity that needs to stay in this
Yes.
present here.
I agree with the anonymity. Absolutely.
So grateful. I am so grateful for the addicts that were here, my predecessors. I am so grateful for them. I really am. But you know what? I wanted to open my own program. I wanted to do a 501c3 because I do go to the prisons. Right now I do. And I go to the women's prison. And women, even when I got clean 27 years ago, we don't have the resources that the men have. We don't have that. For some reason, nobody wants to deal with women because, you know, we got a lot of mama drama stuff going on, and a lot of folks don't want to deal with that. I really don't have a problem dealing with that. I really don't. I just can't, for some reason, I don't know. I guess I keep praying. I keep praying. And I truly believe when God get ready for this to happen, it's gonna happen. Somebody might see this right here and want to get in contact with me and help me, because our resources is limited. Our resources completely limited. We don't have the resources that the men have. And I go to the prison and the women get out, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have housing. They don't have nothing to get them on their feet.
Right.
And I would love to open some kind of program.
I believe, yes, I do. I wonder, I was just at, so there is a lady, a nice woman in recovery, and her name is Colleen, because of course we always honor anonymity, and she in Pitt County has started a recovery housing project in Pitt County called Haven at Blue Creek, and I can send you her information after we get off of the program today, and y'all can connect. And it's just for women, and it's beautiful. And it's just for women, because we don't have anything like that. Like, and me and her just talked about that, Charisse. Like, there's nothing like that in Greenville or the Pitt County surrounding area for women like that. And she is one of the first to bring it here. She said that the next one is maybe somewhere in like Asheville, because like you said, there's not a lot of resources and tools and things for women. There's not a lot of people that want to get involved and help women and be of service to women. And I agree to that.
For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. And I will give you her information once we get done here today, once we get done. But that's confirmation. Right.
That's confirmation.
Right. That's just God working.
That's confirmation.
Man, and it's a beautiful campus. And Colleen is sweet. She's also in recovery, so she understands that she had to fight for that land and for that building, because again, it was so many obstacles and hurdles and red tape and bureaucracy she had to fight through to get that for women, so that y'all can have a safe place. She's trying to expand it to not only 45-day program transition and then housing for a year, That way it's step by step by step, not just throwing you out once you get done with recovery. You're just done. You don't have nowhere to go. You don't know anybody. You have to go find some. This gives the women time to transition and go by a progression of step by step basis. So yeah, I would definitely give you her
Look at
information,
God.
and,
Look
and I'll
at
reach
God.
out and I'll reach out to her. Yeah, look at God. And I would like my sister Charisse, she's going to contact you. Y'all have similar interests when it comes to women in recovery. Absolutely, I will.
And she probably
Absolutely.
know me, and I probably know her because I think I do.
Yeah, I know you. I think you do. I know you do. I think you do. So
Because I
that
think
look
she
at
sent
God.
me an invitation for her opening. I think she did.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I
Yeah.
went last week to see the campus, and and she has a building that's open on the property that she owns that is just sitting there. So it's a place where meetings could take place. It's a place for it's an open building where meetings and things of NA or things of recovery could take place there. So just
Wow.
have that there in you. In it, you have that one too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is that. Look at God working in.
Look at God.
Ah,
Look at
ah,
God. Look at God. And and in my process, not only, my plan is to try to open up something, or maybe I could partner with her, or we
mm-hmm,
can get something going together. Who knows? And then that's another issue. Sometimes a lot of women, I came into Narcotics Anonymous and I used to say, I have a trust issue. I used to say that. But I remember putting my money in between some doors, or
mm,
some crack at a door,
mm,
not knowing who was on the other side and what they were going to give me back through that crack. And then I had the nerve to come in here and talk about trust issues.
mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
So the
do.
trust issue was really with myself. And today I trust myself, so which allows me to let that wall down and let others in. Because if we don't trust ourselves, we can't trust anyone else. And then I remember some of the things I did to get the drugs when I was out there. I was like, man, I was like, wow, I did some stuff out there to get those drugs. But that's
Yeah.
not who I am today.
Right.
Who I am today, I have character. I have some dignity. I have some respect for myself. I have some etiquette for myself. Behind this wall right here, if you can see it, I got quite a few degrees right here
You
that I
do.
have obtained. Yeah, I do, that I have
Yes.
obtained since I've gotten clean. As a matter of fact, talking about I have a LADC, licensed alcohol and drug counseling. I have a degree in drug and alcohol counseling. I have a degree in psychology. I have a master's in education. I've done quite a few internships at different places and got some certificates and stuff from there. After I got clean, I just started running to education. Because I can use all I want to. I can have experience with the drugs all I want to. But if I don't have those letters behind my name, it's not really going to help when it comes to the real nitty gritty. I need those names. I need that education piece in order to function. Like this young lady, she started a program in Connecticut, and she was trying to find somebody to help her write grants. And do you know, I went on YouTube and I learned how to write grants, and I wrote her a grant and she was awarded the grant. Do you know, after that grant, I said to her, now listen about grants. Now, when people give you money, you got to make sure you do all the invoices, and you got to make sure you're accountable for that money, because you're going to want to write another grant.
Mm.
And she called me one day and she said, Connecticut, in Connecticut, it's a little different than down here. It's a rehabilitation state. They help you. They really, really help you. And it's called the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. They give a lot of money out in Connecticut. And she called me and she said they had this other grant. And I wrote another grant for her. And she got the money. So, and I taught my own self how to write grants.
Mm.
I'm a persistent individual, but when it comes to that that program that I want to open, for some reason, I don't know. For some reason, I'm just hesitant. I'm just hesitant about going on, applying for my 501c3, applying for everything and doing the application and doing what I need to do. I'm just a little hesitant about that because I got so many other things going on.
Right.
Like I went to jail. Like I said, I did my own pardon. I didn't hire a lawyer. I didn't hire anybody. I did my own pardon. I got it. I got my own. I did it myself. I did all the paperwork myself, and I got my pardon. Once I did that, a young lady called me. She said, "I heard you got your pardon." I said, "Yeah, I did." She said, "Could you help me with mine?" I said, so now she I don't know what she was doing, but I was using her information to see if it was real.
Right.
So I did hers, right?
Yeah.
She got a pardon from the information that I sent. So now, look, I'm charging folks now. You want a pardon?
I got you, but I got a fee for it. I love this. Like this is another more confirmation, Miss Charisse, for me, because the God of my understanding, who I choose to call God, my higher power, who I choose to call God, has placed education as a part of something that I need to I need to focus on. Going back to school to become a Christian counselor. For me, going back to school to get my bachelor's degree in theology and master's in seminary, because what I want to go back into treatment facilities, and for those who have a faith in God, integrate those services back into treatment more and more on the mental health and addiction side, where they're not prioritized as much as other therapy is. Not saying or minimalizing other therapy, but just prioritizing that as well. So I'm with you when it comes to the education part and the inspiration that you're giving me with your degrees in the back. Because I say it to my wife all the time. That experience that we have, you and me and our viewers and listeners, we have that experience, but that experience only goes so far. You definitely need those letters. You need those degrees. You need that education, not to only have that experience, but couple it with that book knowledge that you learn in that classroom, because it's teaching you a different side to look at it. And I believe education in higher learning is very important. And I also want to say, man, you have so much education I see why you want to start your 510c3. You have so much education that you could give to women that need that right now. They need to know how to write a grant, need to know what a pardon is, need to learn law, philosophy, and ethics. That is amazing and a blessing. And of course, I'm an advocate for prayer, and I do believe in the power of prayer. And
me too.
Yeah, I am with you 100%. I support anything that you got going on like that, because it's needed here, especially in North Carolina, but definitely in Pitt County and the surrounding areas. Yes, ma'am.
We need it everywhere.
Yes.
We really do, because right now, if you have a police record or you have any kind of cases, some folks can't even go and get food stamps. You got people that's disabled, did some stuff back years ago, and due to their jail record or the criminal history, they can't even find housing. So it's not just getting a pardon just to be getting it; it's getting it because you really need it. You really need it. People can't even get an apartment. If you got a police record, they denying you housing, they denying you benefits, they denying you you can't even get financial aid to go back to school if you got all kind of criminal history and stuff. So that pardon plays a big part in each individual life. And like when I went to jail in Rikers Island, I looked at the population right there. It didn't just scare me. My awareness woke up. Most of the people that was in Rikers Island with me when I went to the lunch hall and I was coming from the lunch hall, they looked like me. They look like me. So now I had to write a thesis in one of my degrees, and my thesis talked about the adolescents with substance abuse in prison.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like? And when I did the research and wrote on my thesis, 83% of the inmates in any prison, in any facility, were mostly African Americans. 83%. And this was like when I got my master's degree, this was in 2003. So in 2003, shoot, how old was I? About 48, maybe 47. You know, I'm 66 right now. And I'm retired. I retired from the state of Connecticut with a good retirement and a good job. And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about drug addictions and experience that you and I have, and not having those letters behind your name. And I had some letters behind my name, and I remember it. I remember patients. I worked at an inpatient facility, and I remember some of the clients saying, "If you haven't been out there in the streets, I don't want you for a counselor."
Right, I remember that too. I've heard it,
Yeah.
absolutely. I heard it in a lot of different rehabilitation treatment centers I with. They are very, when it comes to some of us, if you ain't been out there, they don't want to hear it. They don't
They
want
don't
to
want
hear
to.
it.
What can you? I mean, what can you tell me? That's just like me trying to tell a girl, "Yo, you can go have a baby with no problem, but yet and still, I don't have any children."
Yeah.
If you don't have experience, you got to send me to somebody that got the experience. You know, and I never, I never made a comment. I just said, well, you have to take that to the head director of the program, and discuss that with them and let them make those decisions, because that's a higher pay grade for me.
Right.
But even deep down inside, I said to myself, I feel you.
Right. Yeah, I
I
know.
feel you.
Yeah, I
Deep
feel.
down
Yeah.
inside, I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't elaborate on that with them, because that everybody deserved to have some clients. But those folks was like, if you ain't never been a drug addict and you ain't never smoked no crack, what can you tell me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that made
I,
sense.
it does, and I like the way that you handle that too. And I want to go. I wanted to talk about what you said about the whole trust thing. That really resonated with me as well when you spoke about the trust. Like, I'm trusting handing this money through this slot in this door, not knowing who behind that door and not knowing what I'm receiving. That resonated with me in a way because I have to trust. I have to trust in my higher power, and I have to trust in my brotherhood and my sisterhood of my fellowship, and in my sponsor, and in things like that, because I'm with you. I was the same way. I'm gonna go here at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and this neighborhood that I may or may not been here before, because where I'm going before, they're re-upping or they're out, and I need to go here, or I need to
Mm-hmm.
go here, or I need to go across town, places I've never been, people I don't know what I'm going to get, but I trust. I'm trusting that if I don't, I'm going to miss out on something, and I'm going to miss out on a good batch or whatever. And I need to do whatever it takes to get over there. And now, when I go to the prisons too, and when I go to the institutions and treatment facilities, I tell them it's the same hustle. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you went out, whatever you were doing out there to get your next one or your next one, to feed that disease, it's the same as recovery. You have to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever it takes, as long as it's not hurting yourself or others, to get the next recovery, get the
That's
next
right.
recovery, get the
That's
next
right.
recovery. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
work your program, work your
Mm-hmm.
steps, get a
Mm-hmm.
support system and a network of people that you can call, that you can trust. And that
Ooh.
really, that trust part that you said, everything you said has resonated with me, but that trust part has resonated because, yeah, my disease still pops up. It still pops up on me when it comes to pornography, because that was my primary. And then drugs and sex for me go hand in hand. Like, if there's sex, there's drugs. If drugs, there's sex. And that symptom, or that primary, sometimes still have used dreams with um
It's funny.
uh,
It's funny you
sexual
say
it.
that. It's so funny you say that, because when I first met my husband, we were getting real serious, and we really was getting serious. And I said to him, I said, well, we need to sit down and we need to talk, because I need to let you know a lot of things I did out there using wasn't pretty. My husband wasn't from Hartford area or the area where I grew up at, where I used that, but he came there. And I had to tell him, I did a lot of things out there using that I'm not too proud of. And my husband said, if it's in the game, it's in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody can come and tell me anything about what you did when you was out there. I don't even look like that type of person to approach for you to come and try to tell me something about my fiance. And him and I, we went on and we got married, and sure, we've been together. I met him when I had about 6 months clean. I remember sharing with him, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to get some education. And he said, let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. Right. And he went with me to register into the school system and stuff. And I look at him now sometime and I said, babe, why you marry me? He said, because you're smart. He don't say he love me. I said, why you marry me, babe? He said, because you're smart. He said, you were an investment.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
He said, you were an investment, Yeah. And we have a beautiful relationship. He supports me. I done spoken so many places at conventions. We have a convention down here at Atlantic Beach, January of 2024. I'm the programming chair for that convention. I get speakers from all over. I got a CD today from a guy from Clearwater, Florida. I listened to it. His CD is awesome. I'm going to try to plug him in, and he'll come to Atlanta Beach and speak at our convention. I got a girl from Buffalo, New York. I got a girl from California. The 12-step program, we work together, we stick together, and we do stuff together. And, I talked about the 12 steps and I talked about everyone else, but my higher power is a God.
Mm-hmm.
My higher power is not the chair. It's not the light bulb. It's none of that. My higher power is the God of my understanding. But mind you, when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, see, I grew up with a God. That's how my mother grew me up. And when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, I came to Narcotics Anonymous with my mother's God. And as I continued to stay here and continue to work a program, I ended up with the God of my own understanding. Because I remember my mother saying, if you do this, God gonna punish you. If you do that, God gonna punish you. If you do this, and that's how she grew me up. And I always feared God, always. I have a sponsor. To be honest with you, the first sponsor I ever had was my mother. My mother was my first sponsor. I truly believe if I'd listened to my mother and did a lot of things my mother way and the way she wanted me to do it, I might not be an addict today. And then again, I can't really say that because God had to send me through some stuff to get through some stuff so I can help the people that he cleaned me up to help.
Right. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. I used to tell people when I go speak, I tell people I'm grateful for this, and they'll look at me funny. And I'm like, you were grateful that you had the disease of addiction? Like I am, because just like how you said, it was God's way, the God of my understanding's way to show me how I needed to be used and how I could be of service to those who are still in that pit and that darkness that feel like there's no hope. And we are that hope, Miss Charisse. And so I'm with you 100%. So, man, that's funny that you say that. That's funny that you say that. I say that too. I do.
Yeah. God said he wants strong soldiers looking for him.
Yeah.
And he knew that I would be able to conquer whatever it was I needed to conquer. So that's why he put me in Rikers Island to get my attention so I can do what he needed me to do to get to where he wanted me to be so I can help others. And listen, I speak everywhere. I've been to New Orleans. I went to a place in Mississippi I never heard of before in my life. And how these people got my information. Pascadillo, Mississippi. Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it was only about an hour from New Orleans,
Oh wow.
and
Yeah.
I've been to the Mardi Gras plenty of times. So you know, I just do, I do. I share. I'm not no boasting. I don't do a whole lot of boasting because I don't
Right.
have anything to boast about.
Right.
Everything I have is God's. It's God's. It's not even mine. It's not even about me today. It's not about me at all. It's about God and love. That's what God is, love. People right now, you got people out here saying they love Narcotics Anonymous. Yeah, and a lot of them won't even do any service work.
Right.
And if it wasn't for Narcotics Anonymous, I don't know where I would be. I truly believe God created Narcotics Anonymous just for me.
Mm.
That's how grateful He created that for me. I
Yeah.
don't, and if the ones that are there don't think that, well then, hey, whoop de do. But that's what I think. I think
Right.
He created it just for me, so I can do what I need to do for Him, and that's what I do. And you know what's funny though? Sometimes I say, God, we need this program. Um, I live in Pitt County, and you got Butterball over there. That company paid like 16, $17 an hour. You got Sanderson Farm out there in Kingston. It paid good money an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to open up something like a temporary employment or something, or and get me a couple of vans and take these people out here with the sign talking about they'll work for money, and you can come over here every day and I'll take your butt out the Butterball and pick you up every day and help you try to do something with your life if that's what you want to do. A temp service, that's what they call it.
Right.
I would love to do something like that. And so I got so much in my head that I want to do. To I just pray and ask God to send me where He want to send me. Because Sanderson Farm, they don't even care about you being in jail. Butterball, they don't even care about you being in jail. They just want you clean.
They just want you clean.
They just
Yeah.
want you clean. And if I get a contract with them, they wouldn't even care about you being clean. I just need to make sure you get there every day.
Right. Right.
And they pay good money.
Yeah, they do.
But we would have to do some kind of stipulations, because you can't get your check every week and go smoke it up and drink it up every week and then come back with the same thing. You got to be working on doing something different, because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Nothing
But
changes.
somebody got to put that thought to them that it could be different. You got people out here hopeless, helpless,
Yeah.
penniless, homeless. So unless I give them some kind of something, some kind of security of something, they're never going to do anything.
Right. It was a story shared with me about how that there was this church, there was this organization that was working with this homeless guy, and they had got him off the street and got him an apartment, took care of him, got him a job and everything. And it was the mentality that he had of, wait a minute, I got to go to work. Hadn't worked in a long time, been homeless for a long time, been on drugs, mental health. And what was the aha moment is that's a lifestyle. That's a lifestyle that is very hard to break from. It's a life being homeless, and I've been there too. So I'm hoping when I say this, I don't want to minimize anybody's being homeless or their journey, because I can relate. It for me, I know it was my thinking was, I don't want responsibility of that kind. I don't want those types of responsibilities or that type of pressure or that type of someone relying on me. I'd rather do this where I can be isolated. The disease. I can be isolated. I can only answer to Derek. I only might need to answer to maybe one or two people, but that's because I'm trying to get my using or my dope or my sex or whatever that more or whatever that one more is. But it's a mentality of, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to have to wake up and pay bills, pay rent, take care of my children, go be accountable for a job, or have people rely on me. I really want to just use and stay here and be comfortable and familiar in what I know. So I'm with you with that, as far as, yes, the hope and the change of wanting something different for them has to start with them, like us, wanting something different for ourselves.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
sometimes you have to throw. Sometimes you gotta throw a dog a bone. That's
Yeah.
just a
Hmm.
scenario. That's all.
Hmm.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
nobody's a dog. I'm
No,
just
no, no,
using that as a
no.
scenario.
Right,
Sometimes
right, right.
you gotta stretch your hand out. Listen, another reason I say a lot of times, God, why can't I hit that $1 billion lottery right now? Can you imagine what I would be doing, helping folks? Can you imagine that? I would be doing that.
Yeah, same, same. It's
Yeah,
just the,
yeah,
it's
yeah. I
just the,
wouldn't be
it's
one of those
just,
people
yeah,
that get
it's
that money and you don't know
right,
where the money went to. I
right.
would be open. You
It's,
understand?
it's just the mentality of definitely being of service, but also I just want people to understand. I know for me, if I'm definitely going to help, there can't be all my help, but I have a expectation. Oh, I did this, because some people do. Some people in their mindset, when they help and they give that, then they give out that service work or a dog a bone. Not calling nobody dogs, but then it doesn't work out. They stop because, oh, we can't do that no more because look what happened to him or her. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying if that is the case and we decide to help and lend that hand, or even jump in that pit with them, we have to be okay if while we're jumping in that pit that they don't take to it. And that outcome can't dictate what we do next time. So yeah,
Oh,
right.
but see, so this is what we do. This is what we do. Like I said, I would love to take some folks out to Butterball. I would love to
Mm-hmm.
take some folks out to
Mm-hmm.
Skin and some Park. I would love to do that. But before I did all that, I would open me a shelter. I would open me a
Mm.
shelter for men, and over here I would open me a shelter for women. And if you were not in that shelter and we hadn't came to some agreements and stuff, then I can't help you go out to Butterball or Sanderson Park. I'm just not
Yeah,
gonna pick
yeah.
you up off the street
I
and all
like
that
that.
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
We're gonna
right.
have some kind of agreement. You're gonna be living in this shelter and you're gonna pay rent once a week when you
I
get your
like it.
check.
I
And
like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Go,
yeah.
you
We're
got
gonna
provisions. You
and
got
I'm gonna have
provisions in place.
documents,
Yeah, yeah,
progress, how you get, where you
yeah,
were when you came in here,
yeah.
where
I
you
like
are
that.
this week, where you
Yeah.
are that week. Because sooner or
That's part
later,
of
I
your
might want to
that's
write
part
a
of
grant.
your 510c3. That's part of
Yes,
your provisions.
yes,
We writing
yes.
it right now. We writing it right now, Miss Charisse. We getting provisions right now. I know
there
that's right.
you go. There you go. Because I might
Yeah.
want to write a grant, and they want to know how are you gonna evaluate the metrics? How you gonna
Yeah.
measure their evaluation? So long as I
Mm.
know what you did when you came in September, now it's January. I got documents to where you progress from
Yes.
September to January. I can evaluate you when it's time for me to write that grant because they
Yeah.
asked all that.
That
So
is
I would be doing
so
charts and all that kind of stuff. I would be
that
doing all that.
That's cool. And then you can also get the supervisors take and their notes how they're performing at the job, because that's important too. Their commitment, coming in on time, working productively, being a not only a
Mm-hmm.
productive member in
Mm-hmm.
society but a productive member in the workforce. That's
And
good.
and after you work there for 6 months and show them that you know how to save your money, because even though you get your check, you got to get you a little account and save some money on the side and go get your
Right,
license and go get you a
right.
little piece of car and save you some money and just do some stuff. Start becoming a productive member of society, you
Yeah.
know? And then, I just take it from there. I just want to do so much. I
You see
do.
that?
I
You
just
see
want
that,
to do
ladies and
so
gentlemen? This is the therapeutic value of one addict helping another without
much.
parallel. This is what this is. This is what this
That's what
is.
it is. That's what it
We
is. Check this
this is
out.
what we just gave you an example of what that means. People are like, what does that mean? This right here.
That's
This
what it
right here. This is
is.
what
Mhm.
this means. The
That's
joy.
what it is.
and the excitement that Miss Charisse has given for me. I tell people all the time, this does wonders for my recovery. Like, this helps me just as much as I hope it helps you and the listeners and the viewers. So yeah, this is what that means, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this means.
Yeah.
This has
Hey,
been
hey, and it also means that I'm not one of those people like, the crab in the basket.
right. Yeah.
With you trying to get out and I'm trying to pull you back in. No, once I get out, I'm going back down in the basket and I'm gonna get me some folks and pull them out with me.
Yes.
And hopefully they do the same thing. And hopefully they do the same thing. Don't pay me nothing. You don't owe me nothing. Pay it forward.
Right. Pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
And this is what this is. This is we had talked off air, and this is what this is. This is a way that I can pay it forward. I pay it forward in other ways as well, but this is a way that I can bring a different level of attention, whoever. And I do honor anonymity. There have been people and guests on my show that have wanted to protect their likeness, and I honor that. Just because you don't want your likeness showed doesn't mean your story still can, your testimony still can't be told, and they share that experience, strength, and hope. Listen, Miss Charisse, this has been great. We got about 2.5 minutes. I really want to get to your gratefulness and give me a couple things you're grateful for. And the reason that I do that, and I ask that on my show when I go speak, especially in the institutions, in the hospitals, and in the prisons, I tell the guys I want them, or the ladies, I want them to focus on glass half full instead of glass half empty. Focus on the
That's
blessings and the things that you do have instead of not focusing on what you don't have. Because when that disease shows itself, when that opportunity comes, and it will come, these are things, and it could be more than two, but these are things that can ground you and can hold you firm to get to a meeting, to call your sponsor, to get to your support team or support system. This is a first aid kit or a first aid kit that can get you to the triage, that can get you, I'm military background, so to get you to the hospital, get you to the sponsor of the group, or whatever you need to keep you clean and healthy for that day. So what are a couple of things that you are grateful for, Miss Charisse, that help keep you grounded in your recovery journey?
I'm just grateful that I become the person that I've become today. I'm just grateful that I'm clean. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to experience the experiences that I've had dealing out there in the streets so that I can help someone else today. I got so many things that I'm grateful for. And right now, my granddaughter had a set of twins, and they're 2 years old, and they live in Connecticut, but they're here with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're here with me right now. And look at God. Look at God. God is. I'm able at 66 years old to have a set of twins here that are my great grandchildren. And yesterday we went to Chuck E. Cheese in Goldsboro yesterday, and we had a ball. I'm grateful that I got my health and strength, and I can do things like that with my great grandchildren today. I'm just grateful to be grateful. I don't, like I said, I don't boast. I don't do any of that type of stuff. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for every single thing. And I woke up this morning in my right mind. I washed myself. I bathed myself. I can feed myself. Nobody has to do those things for me. I'm so grateful that they took me out of those streets, because today they got some stuff out there that it's crazy.
It'll take you out. It'll take you out.
It'll take you right out.
Only a little bit, and it'll take you out.
It'll take you right out. It'll take you right out. So I'm just so grateful to be clean today.
For me, I'm grateful for the God of my understanding, who I choose to call God, for another day of being clean. I'm grateful for you coming up here and sharing your experience, strength, and hope. This was this was great, Miss Charisse. I'm thankful for your story, your testimony. It inspired me to keep going, to know that I don't have to go back. I don't have to make that choice to put anything in my body, but I can choose to pay it forward and to be better. I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful in all circumstances. And I'm like you. I'm grateful for the small things that I used to take for granted: the hot shower, the bathing myself, being able to eat. And my daughter, she's had her first child, and we're going out there to celebrate baby Devon, and I'm looking forward to smooching on her and my son and my grandson, and just spending time with family out there. My wife's family's out there in San Antonio as well. So it's a blessing time, and I'm grateful too. So, but listen, Miss Charisse, I thank you for being up here. I love you so much,
I love you
and
too.
I hope we stay in contact. I'm gonna send you over that information after we get off here, and let's stay in contact. And thank you for doing this, and thank you for being who you are in this fight of recovery. I am grateful for that as well.
And
So
thank you.
absolutely.
Okay.
So until next time, Miss Charisse, you have a good day and you take care. And I love you. Okay.
Love you too. Yeah.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Yeah, that's what we do here at Play the Tape. Another fantastic episode with another wonderful guest. All my guests are wonderful. I always say that because it's true. They have their own testimonies, their own stories, their own strength, their own hope, their own experiences that they bring to this platform for you, for me, for themselves. Listen, with peace comes understanding, with understanding comes love, and with love comes hope, and with hope comes faith, and with faith comes recovery. I know I say that in so many different ways, but it's not scripted here. But it is written on my heart, and I mean that. If no one hasn't told you today that they love you, I love you, we love you, but most importantly, God loves you. Hey, this has been another great, fantastic episode. Until next time, peace.